Is everybody in? Is everybody in? The show is about to begin.
Welcome to the podcast, concerts that made us, interviews and stories, tales from the bus. We love taking you back to when it all went down. The greatest live shows and that cheering crowd sound. It's concerts that made us, concertsthatmadeus.com.
JD Reynolds, you're very welcome to Concerts That Made Us.
Hello, Brian. How are you going?
I'm great now. I'm great. How are you today?
I'm very well. Thank you. It's Friday night here in Australia. Welcome to the future. And it's a good one.
I'm surprised you're not out like partying or playing a gig on a Friday night.
Brian, I'm chatting with you. What's more important than that?
I see. So we opened.
And it's only early. It's only 7 p.m. It's just early bird time.
I see. We opened the show with your latest release, then, A Little Piece of Your Heart. What can you tell us about it?
I love the way you say that. Say it again.
A Little Piece of Your Heart.
Oh, that sounds so cool. Yes, so A Little Piece of Your Heart, that is my latest release. It is a love song for all the romantics out there. And I learnt this morning, Brian, because I was busy yesterday, but I learnt this morning that A Little Piece of Your Heart has officially gone to number 10 on the Australian country radio charts.
Oh my God. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. I was so stoked. I'm extremely excited.
Oh man. You'll have some celebrating to do so.
Yes, I will. Yeah, I will. So I rang some friends and said, come on, how are your hearts? Let's get happy. We'll take our hearts out and celebrate tonight.
Brilliant. Now, it's a beautiful song. If you listen to the lyrics, it's a beautiful story. I have to ask, is it autobiographical?
You know, you're the first one to ask me that, and I've been pondering about whether to, discuss it. Look, I would say that 90% of it is 100% true. Unfortunately, we didn't get our last verse, but we tried.
Right.
But, it wasn't under any. It wasn't anyone's. It was anyone's fault. Just kind of destiny stepped in. But it was all true, except we never got our last verse together.
Oh, that's
our last
sad.
chorus, I should say. Our last chorus. We never got our last chorus.
I
We got
see.
everything else.
Oh, well, at least you got something.
I agree. Yeah, look, as the old saying goes, isn't it? Is it better to have lost and loved and lost, but then never to have loved at all? I don't know. What's the old saying?
Exactly. Something like that.
Something like that.
And,
Yeah.
when it comes to songwriting then, what's your approach? Where do you find your inspiration from?
My inspiration, it comes from my diaries. I write everything in a diary, the way I'm feeling, what I'm thinking, ever since I was little. And so I rip pages out of my diary and turn them into songs. But the way I write is very interesting. I don't sit down with a pen and a paper. I just write thoughts and feelings and things that I'm thinking in my diary. And then I will sleep on it or I'll surf on it. I'll go for a surf. I'll go for a drive. I'll have a sleep. And then bam, I might be hanging out the back, waiting for a set to roll in, just sitting on my surfboard, and a whole song will just come straight into my head. There's me crazy paddling out back to the sand to running up to the 4x4. I've got to get my song down. Or when I'm asleep, I'll just wake up, I'll have a whole song in my head, I will go into my studio, I'll sit down at the piano, and the whole thing will be done.
Oh, man. Jeez, you're lucky it works out like that. And, you know, when it comes to recording then, what's the process for you? What goes into it?
Recording, I will say to my producer, Braden Williams, he's worked with everyone, Beyonce, Snoop Dogg, Kelly Clarkson, everybody. And he knows me very well, and I walk into the studio and I'm ready. I'm ready for the opening note. So my first take is on point. My first take in a studio is the one that they will always go back to and say, killed it, smashed it. The rawness, the emotion. So before I go into a studio, I really do set myself up emotionally. I dress for action. I usually wear combat boots and get in there, and it's all about how I'm feeling. And I really just try to just sink myself into the lyrics, sink myself into the feeling that I want to convey. I walk into a studio. Please don't talk to me. Please don't say anything. I just walk into the booth. Producer says, right, we're on. Song plays. I sing it. I smash it.
Ah, geez, you're definitely in the zone. So, and
Yeah.
you know, this track in particular, what do you hope people get from it?
I hope people get out of this that you've got to do life your way. Find your person and ignore outside noise. Outside noise can really ruin a love story. And it is all about love and doing things your way on your terms. And I really hope people, and a lot of people think that you can't find love, or you can't, it's not really love when you're so young. But it can be, and a lot of the times it really is, and that's when you actually do find true love, when you're really young, and then finding that person, growing old with them and doing life with them. That's what it's about, and it's just about not owning that person. I don't believe in ownership of a person. I think they belong to themselves and you belong to yourself. It's about coming together and just giving each other a little piece of each other's heart, and that's all that you can hope to own from each other and just grow in life and love.
I love that message. I love it. Question just popped into my mind. I have to ask you then. Do you believe that it's already pre-written, that there's somebody out there for someone?
Yes, definitely. And I believe that there is more than one, if that makes sense. I believe that a lot of people do find the one, stay with the one, and that is their journey. But I don't want people out there who have loved and lost thinking that that was their one and that was their shot, because I don't believe in that. I believe that that was the one for that period of your life. That was the one that was sent to you to heal you, to love you, to shape you, to to make you feel love. And if that doesn't work out, that's okay. All right. And then destiny will move you on to the next chapter. And in that next chapter of the book, that's where you'll find the one. And then if that chapter doesn't work out, y'all, chin up. Next chapter is just a page turn away.
Brilliant philosophy. Absolutely brilliant. And at this stage, so we'll dive into your musical history to give the listeners a sense of where you come from. So might be a bit of a tough question now, but if you can you remember your earliest musical memory?
My earliest musical memory is my mum dancing and singing with me in the kitchen while she was cooking spaghetti bolognese.
Lovely.
That's really one of my earliest memories. She is a massive music fan. She's a country music fan. She loves all of the greats. She had the greats playing on repeat in the house. And I remember dancing in that kitchen, waiting for that spaghetti bolognese, because that was one of my favorites. And she would dance with me and sing, and she'd sing Roy Orbison, and she'd sing Elvis, and she'd sing Dolly Parton. And we would dance around the kitchen singing and dancing to Jolene.
Oh, and you obviously grew up in a very musical household. Then there was always music, there was support for music. They must have been happy when you chose that career.
I think it chose me. Absolutely. It really did choose me. I wanted to be a ballerina when I was little. I was a really great ballet dancer, and I'm 5'11" now. I grew too tall. But ballet was my passion, but I always loved music. And I used to sing to myself. I became a very good ballerina very, very young, and pretty much just thrown into the deep end with a lot of the more senior ballerinas, and I used to sing to myself as a little girl to calm my nerves. And it was one of a very well-known choreographer went to my mum and said, little JD, she's a beautiful little ballerina, but my goodness, that kid can sing. And that's how I started just really thinking, you know what, I love this. I love both. I love ballet and I love singing. And then when I started growing too tall for ballet, I've always been brought up to be a bit of a realist as well as a romantic. My mum's always said, JD, you're going to be tall like me, honey. Yeah, your mum's 6 foot, darling. So you're going to be a tall one, sweetie. So do ballet and dance your heart away for as long as you love it, and let your heart sing. So she just let me choose what I wanted to do.
Oh, I see. And, in your teenage years, then I always find that you get exposed to different genres by your friends. So what music were you exposed to, and how do you think it influenced you as the artist you are today?
That's a good question. So I grew up on country music and the greats, and my a lot of my cousins were huge pop heads, and rock and roll, and so I grew up also loving Prince. I still love Prince today. I feel like he's still with us and still inspiring us. I think that what Prince and country music have in common is just great storytelling. I love the storytelling that Prince tells us, the stories that he tells us, just wrapped in this awesome Prince pop vibe. Can't even explain it. It's just Prince. It's just his, and so that was a great influence on me. And also Michael Jackson, the dancer in me really loved watching him. He has a lot of ballet moves in his dance. You can see the training that he puts in. So that was a great influence on me as well. So pop, I loved those two artists, as well as my country artists and my greats.
Wow. And, growing up then, what was your local music scene? Like, was it very vibrant? Was there always gigs to go to?
Yeah, it was. Yeah. So my mum used to sneak me in as a little girl. It was really well known in the local community, and they loved her, and they said, look, JD just wants to pop in and just kind of sit at the back, or sit up in the rafters and watch this singer or watch this band. And I'm not going to drop any pubs names or club names because they let me in. I used to sit up in the rafters or in the lighting box, and I used to watch these bands and shows, and I didn't care who it was. I just loved watching people do what they love.
Yeah. And the Australian country scene is something we don't really get exposed to over here in this side of the world. So what can you tell us about it? What is it like?
It is raw, it is real, and it is a hell of a lot of fun. What you get is what you see. Everyone just sings with their big country hearts, and the country music fans over here are just the salt of the earth, beautiful human beings. And the country music scene is so happening here, and it's so vibrant, and there is a rawness in our storytelling that I can hear if an artist is Australian or not. There's a certain beautiful rawness to it.
Right. And as an Australian artist, then what's it like trying to break into the country scene in the States?
Well, I was fortunate enough I'm a 100% independent artist. So a lot of independent artists are saying, oh my God, I think my previous single, 8 Seconds, went to #1 on the Australian country music charts during Grammy week.
Oh my God.
And I was flabbergasted, couldn't believe it. I mean, you can imagine that is such an honor. And that is a big week of music. And so for my song 8 Seconds to sit there at #1, independent artists go, oh my God, like, how do you do it? I said, well, it's just me, and it's just my fans. And so breaking into this country music scene in America, you've just got to have people out there that just love you, and you've got to just love them back. And I'm very fortunate on social media. I've got such a gorgeous social media family. They're very, very supportive. They come from all over the world, but my highest percentage of fans come from the United States of America.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, and then it's Australia, and then it's Brazil.
Brazil, really? Ah,
Yeah,
I suppose
yeah,
though the States is kind of like the home of country music, really, when you think about it, you know?
it is absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. Look, we've got a home of country music here, but if we're talking world scale, yeah, absolutely, the USA. That's where it.
Yeah.
I just keep on thinking of Willie Nelson and just,
Yeah.
but we had a very similar artist out here, Slim Dusty. He was our Willie Nelson,
Ah,
uh, and yeah, so but yeah, definitely the USA is where it's at, and I'm just so grateful that they're just embracing me and my music, and I'm embracing them right back.
yeah. Do you think you'd ever make the move over there full time?
Oh, totally. I totally would. I'll pack a guitar, a bag full of bikinis, and my surfboard. I'll just go. I don't think there's any surfing in Tennessee, but I'll find some pocket of water.
Oh,
But
brilliant.
yeah, definitely. I could pack up. Yeah, pack up, and I think I view it as just packing up to do what you love.
Yeah, true,
I'm a
true.
dream. I'm a dream chaser.
And now the podcast is called Concerts That Made Us. So I can't get away without asking you, out of all the concerts you've attended in your life, what ones have made you?
Oh, seriously? Okay, I think there was two. When I was a little girl, my mum took me to see Prince, and so that made a really big impact. And she also, when I was little, I she took me to a Keith Urban concert,
Oh man.
and yeah, and I just thought, oh, okay, this is so cool. And my mum said I was there the whole time with just eyes as big as saucers, and she just said you could just tell that there was just this love just oozing out for everything live concert. And she said, "You're just so little." She says, and she said she got a lot of flack. Oh my God, why are you taking someone this little to see Prince? And she'd say to me, "I'm so glad that I did. I'm so glad that you got to experience that." She said, because to experience one of the greats like that is a once in a lifetime experience.
Yeah, yeah, totally, totally. And of course, now he's gone, people can't see him anymore, which is a major pity.
I agree. I agree because even though I was young, I remember it. I was floored by it, and even watching Keith Urban as a little girl, I was in awe. Just a great showman, and just a great Aussie country music artist. So I think that I'm gonna say those two concerts.
Brilliant, brilliant. Doesn't get much better than them. And what I'm really looking forward to now, for any listeners that haven't caught one of your shows, tell us all about it. Give us the full experience if you can.
Okay, so when you come to a JD Reynolds concert, it is 100% live. I don't believe in any fakeness in a show. I don't believe in an over rehearsed show either, because I am a dancer. So my band and I communicate extremely well when I'm on stage. I can go off in a bit of a tangent and just bust out and have a dance, and my band will know when I'm ready to go back and sing. I will never stand there. I can't stand still. I love the crowd. I get them extremely involved, and at one of the last shows I did, there was this beautiful little elderly lady that came up to me, and she said to me, I've seen Elvis, and she was rattling them off. I've seen, and she was just rattling off all of these names that I so highly respected. And she said, and yours was the most enjoyable show that I have seen since I was, I think she said, like whatever age she was. And she says that was just thoroughly enjoyable. So for someone of her age to have seen these huge acts and then to find me after the show, line up with her walker just to get a signature and a photo. I saw her. I said, yo, you hottie, come over here. Get her over here. And so for those kinds of compliments, that's what you get. You just get the real me. I'm always dancing. My band is insane. My guitarist is ridiculous. Chris Pedersen, he plays with Van Halen, Aerosmith. So you would just get the best of a best show, and you'll walk out feeling good. Man, I love people walking out feeling good and happy.
That's what it's
And I
all
love
about.
making them cry too. Give me a tear. Yeah, and I love it when they make me cry. It's all good stuff.
Yeah. Geez, it sounds like the most perfect gig ever now. It sounds unreal. If I ever make it to Australia, I'll be front row and center at one of your shows.
Absolutely. I'm telling you, I'm so excited to be getting on the roads as soon as possible. We can't wait. My band and I are just so ready to get back out there and just be face to face with the fans. There's nothing like it.
Yeah. And how do you work on your stage show then and constantly keep it fresh for the audience?
It's never rehearsed.
Really?
It's never rehearsed. I've been to. I love going to concerts, and I make a point of trying to. I mean, it's so expensive now, but I make a point of trying to not go to just one. I'll try to go to two of the same concert, and I'm always disappointed on the second night. Because you see how polished, perfectly polished, and how perfect it is. But I think that's one of the things I like about my show. You could probably come to 8 in a row and never see the same show twice. There'll be always just something different. And that's what I love about my band and my crew. We're very spontaneous, so we can read each other so well. And especially with me and my dancers, we know each other well. And so if they see me just doing something, they go, oh, yeah, there she goes.
Right. And, you sold out the Australian PBR Monster Energy KRanch Invitational in 24 hours after being announced as a performer. That must have felt like such a pinch me moment, did it?
It was. I was so proud. And what, I say that about myself a lot because I'm an artist. I'm very hard on myself. But PBR announced it. Monster Energy announced it. Their fans all over the world, like they're Monster Energy. They're monsters. And less than 24 hours, they announced me that I was performing there. Sold out. It was the only sold out PBR event worldwide in 2022. So PBR reached out and said, JD, can you please go into every social media platform you've got and announce, we love you, JD Reynolds fans, we adore you. Thank you for calling us, but please, tickets are exhausted. There is no waiting list. And then this big rumor broke out that I was going to do a pop-up gig in the car park, and that caused havoc. And so then I had to jump back on socials and say, I am not doing a pop-up gig, y'all. There is security everywhere. I'm here. You're going to have to, there's literally semi-trailers blocking the entrance. Unless you've got a ticket, you can't get in. A couple of my fans, they reached out. And there was a couple of Queensland fans that said, we just bought scalpers tickets for $400 a pop just to come drive down and see you. And so I got on there saying, please don't buy scalpers tickets. I'm so worried about y'all. But fortunately, they got in, and man, it was a ripper of a night. It was packed. It was packed to the brim. And it was just, I got out there and mingled. I walked through the crowd and got mobbed and had crash tackled by all the kids out there. And man, I felt right at home.
Oh my God. What do you do after a show like that? How do you get on to the next big thing or look forward to the next big thing? What goes through your mind?
I just look forward to the next minute. I look forward to the drive home. I look forward to going to a Macca's drive-through and getting a Big Mac. And I'm a very positive person. I'm just hoping that I'm bringing a lot of joy into the world. And I take, I'm just taking one day at a time and one step at a time with my country music career. And I am 100% independent artist. I mean, it's just me and my fans.
Yeah.
So to feel that love from them, I can't explain it, Brian. They've got a little piece of my heart, man.
Brilliant. And those moments before you step on stage, what's your pre-show ritual? And then afterwards, how do you calm yourself down?
A pre-show ritual, before PBR, I was just talking to all the athletes, and I was speaking to them about their PBR journeys, their injuries, because 8 seconds I dedicated to the professional bull riders and those who love them. And I knew how devastating the sport can be for a lot of people. And these guys are out here riding with broken ribs and broken wrists. And they are so inspiring. The number one Australian bull rider, he was sweet enough to co-star in my 8 seconds music video. And I literally spent the time just chatting with Aaron and about the world of PBR and just putting things into perspective. And then what really just settled me before I went on stage was listening to the Cowboys' prayer that they say before each PBR event. And that just puts things into perspective for me. And for me, it was just about getting out there, being myself, bringing joy, and really just allowing everyone who came out to see me just to feel the love from me, which I'm pretty sure they did, because, got out there and just did my thing.
Sounds like it. And when it comes to your career then, how do you measure success?
I measure success. This is an interesting question, because when I had my number one with 8 seconds, someone asked me, what is a number one song to you? And I said, as long as it's number one in the hearts of my fans, that's a number one song. So I measure success by how happy I feel, by how full my soul is, and by how happy my fans are, and how much love they give me, and how much, sometimes they give me a bit of stick too. Their banter is fantastic. So that's how I measure success. If you wake up in the morning and you say thanks God for another day, and regardless of what it is, and you've got a smile on your dial, that's success to me.
I think that may be just the perfect answer I've got to that question. And, say in 40 years' time, you're looking back on your career. What do you hope your legacy is?
I hope a little piece of your heart is on so many wedding videos, and everyone looking back and looking at their weddings on the happiest days of their lives. I hope that my songs have placed some love and joy in everyone's hearts. And I hope that my songs trigger beautiful memories, sad memories, happy memories. I hope it just triggers memories, because life is about collecting memories.
It certainly is. It certainly is. And before we get on to the last couple of questions then, future plans, new music, big gigs, tell us all about it.
Yeah, let's do it all. Yeah, so definitely new music. I'll get. I've got some some crackers of some songs. Working on a full-length album for next year, which will be exciting. Got some crackers of some singles to release in the meantime. So I'm looking forward to seeing how my fans receive those. I love working on everything about the music, the covers. One of my fans said, I look forward to your covers, your artwork, just as much as I look forward to your music. And that was a huge compliment, because for me, growing up as a little girl, I loved that too. Like the cover and what is it going to be, and so I loved that compliment. So I'm looking forward to getting some new music out. I'm looking forward to getting on stage. I'm looking forward to coming back to the United States and getting on stage with my fans, and let's just have a big JD get together.
Sounds brilliant. Sounds brilliant. Right, we'll dive into the last few questions. So these are a bit tricky. If you could see any performer from history in concert for one night only, who would it be?
Oh, does it include a headliner? I just like okay, like a support act. Can I have a support act?
Yeah.
Okay, so I would love to go to an Elvis concert. I would love to then go to and then have Prince come out, and then Michael Jackson come out, and Roy Orbison and Johnny Cash. It's all come out and just all together. They're going on tour together, and that's the concert that I want to go to.
It wouldn't get much better than that.
It would.
Could you imagine the size of the stadium they'd need to put them in?
Nope. It'd be endless, and I wouldn't care if I could see it on a monitor and I was 2 states away. I'd still go.
Yeah. And the next one. So, if you had to spend 24 hours locked in a room with any musician from history, who would it be?
Ooh, this is a good one, Brian. I'm going to say Mozart.
Really? Oh.
Yeah, I think there is something intriguingly stunning about classical music. I think that classical music writers, especially from that genre, were just on a whole different wavelength. And I play piano, so I think that would be, I know it's a weird choice and I've actually never thought about it, but I'm pretty sure that's who it would be.
Yeah, that's a good one, actually. I think that might be the first time I've heard Mozart mentioned as an answer.
I think it would be. How intriguing would it be?
Oh, definitely. Imagine the questions you'd have for him, or even just sit there and soak it up.
Imagine the outfit he'd have on.
True, yeah. Oh, man.
Okay, this D-7. Can you just help me just kind of stretch my fingers here? Can you imagine? Yeah, I think that's who I'd choose. That was a really random question, and that was the first thing that popped into my head. How extraordinary would it be?
Yeah, exactly. And the final one. So, what song would appear on the soundtrack to your life?
Probably Whatever, my own song. If it wasn't Whatever, my own track, the soundtrack of my life would probably be Ballerina Girl, Lionel Richie.
Perfect. Suits you down to the ground, I imagine.
Yeah, that's definitely it. You've got no idea how many bleeding toes and wrecked point shoes that I went through dancing to that one, and I enjoyed every second of it.
Brilliant. JD, I have to say, genuinely, I can't describe how much I've enjoyed chatting to you now. It has been an absolute blast.
Me too, Brian. It's been so cool chatting with you, and genuinely, the really interesting questions. And I've just had really a lot of fun talking to y'all. And I hope your listeners have really enjoyed it too, because you're awesome. And the way you say "a little piece of my heart," you got to say it one more time, because the way you say "heart" is just way too cool.
A little piece of my heart.
You've got a peace of mind.
Welcome to the podcast, concerts that made us into music stories, tales from the bus. We love taking you back to when it all went down. The greatest live shows and the cheering crowd sound. It's concerts that made us, concerts that made us.com.